Good day, viewers, and welcome to today's Sports Wrap Show. I am your host, Brian Monango, unpacking and updating you with the latest sports and news. Well, Windhoek Drafel take on Eastern Province Elephants in the M&Z Cup Challenge at the Hagegengop Stadium. So if you are in Windhoek, definitely make your way to the stadium on Saturday at 4 o'clock. And if you're not in Windhoek, do not worry, do not fear. NTV has got you covered, and we will be broadcasting the game live. So you can tune in on social media, be that being Facebook on Namibian Sun and on Republican as well, and also on YouTube. And then you can also enjoy the wonderful game of rugby. Well, all roads are from Manchester lead to Wembley Stadium on Saturday for the first ever FA Cup final between the city's arch rivals. A fitting climax to the domestic season and a clash loaded with significance for both clubs. Well, with that, let's get into today's hit list. Well, tomorrow it is the African Mountain Biking Championship that will be taking place in Johannesburg. Well, Andrew Pullman compiled a video for us, and you guys should enjoy.
This coming Saturday, the African Mountain Bike Championships takes place at Taba Trails in Johannesburg. Namibia will be represented by Alex Miller, the 2022 Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, as well as Hugo Hahn in the elite men's categories of both the cross-country race and, for the first time ever, in the short course championship race. Due to Monique Duplessis' absence as part of an African continental road cycling team competing in Europe, Namibia will have no rider in the elite women's race. 5 riders will wear the Namibian colours in the UCI junior men's class. The highly ranked Kevin Lowe will join up with his compatriots after competing in Switzerland last weekend, while Daniel Hahn, Teens van der Westhuizen, Justice Bielker and Adrian Key will also take on the best under-18 men on the continent. A group of Namibian mountain bikers competed in the South African Cup Series event on an exceptionally technical and demanding course in Bloemfontein last weekend, and were in some cases unlucky not to come away with their usually dominant performances in their respective categories. Upcoming under-16 girls rider Delcia van Vuren was the early leader in her race by a margin of about 20 seconds, but she lost some time when a rider fell in front of her and she eventually finished in second position. After 3 laps and about 58 minutes of racing, the winner was Jodie McKinnon from South Africa by a margin of 45 seconds. Another Namibian rider, Rosemary Thiel, finished in 5th place. Earlier, Roger Suren continued his dominant rise in the under-16 boys class, winning his race over 4 laps in 58 minutes by a margin of 1 minute 25 seconds ahead of Samuel Cleary of the Western Cape. In 3rd place, about 2 minutes behind Suren, was another Namibian, Marco Thiel, while Sean Lowe finished in 6th place. Among the junior men under 18, Daniel Hahn continued his ongoing fierce rivalry with the top South African riders. This time, the current African champion Ernest Roots finished in 1st place, followed by Massimiliano Ambrosi of South Africa and Daniel Hahn in 3rd place on the podium. The Namibian got stuck behind another rider early on the technical course and had to fight his way back after finding himself in 5th position after the first of their 5 laps. The elite men's race of 7 laps immediately started with a group crash in the bottleneck around the first corner, in which both the Namibian riders Alex Miller and Hugo Hahn were involved and lost positions. Hahn found himself in 21st place during lap 2, and when he was involved in a second crash, he withdrew from the race, fortunately without injury. Meanwhile, Alex Miller worked hard to improve his position from 6th place to eventually finish 4th, behind the South Africans Philip Buys, Johan van Zyl and Luke Moyer, but ahead of the Australian rider Cameron Wright.
Well, Tapi Katsvara, a learner from St. Paul's College, won his first international tournament, the Under-11, Under-12 Sisheni SA Kids Golf Junior Open Tournament. The tournament was hosted by SA Kids Golf Organization in Kantu, Northern Cape Province, South Africa, over the weekend on the 28th of May. Well, Katsvara was tied for the title with South African local player Agterdam Del Rico and got a class of their own. They both scored a 92, whilst the next best player was on 107. Well, at the end, the young boy came out victorious in that one. Katsvara also plays chess and is the under-12 Namibian chess reigning champion. He will be going to Egypt in September to represent Namibia at the African Youth Championship. So we are very excited for that one. So moving on, we have the Windhoek Truffle Witches, who have announced the team that plays tomorrow against the Eastern Province Elephants. Let's take a look at the team there. As you can see, we have Andre Rademacher in number 1, Prince to captain the team. Danko Berger is also in the team there. JC Greiling, very excited for him there in the team. Warren Ludwig, who plays at number 14. And it looks like Moton will continue in number 15. So we are all very excited for the Windhoek Draws match that will be taking place on tomorrow, that is against the Eastern Province Elephants. Well, the pipeline is up next after the break. Well, the 2023 M&Z Motors Tara Rally this morning at the Tony Rust Raceway, where the first stage was raced around the track, started off today. We have Tillman, who produced a highlight package for us to enjoy with the cars that took off today. So let's take a look at that. Well, Loic Bathfield, who was very excited for the Tara Rally, broke one of his lower control arm of his Century Racing CR6 in the first stage. It is not certain whether Bathfield's service team can repair the part, but we hope that they can. Vendukers can watch the teams compete in 2 special super stages at the racetrack tonight as from 7 o'clock, so please do make your way there. Don Ray Botha, the 2022 Namibian Open Class Motocross champion, is on standby with Tillman. With your take.
The next days are not a measurement of time, but the distance from here to the finish line. For the race you are running, for your kids, your career, your health, your future. Not away, but towards it. While the voice in your head reminds you it won't be easy. But by simply swinging your feet towards the floor, you've taken the first step. Grow for it with Stamino Grow. 5-in-1 supplement available at all leading pharmacies.
Don Ray, here behind us, your weapon of choice, a Honda 450. Why?
Yeah, in the sport you need the weapons to fight the battle. And yeah, in 2021 we decided to buy the new Honda. At this stage, it's for the best choice for me. It has technology, it has traction control, it has launch control, it has map settings. So for me, it's definitely the best weapon to fight the battle at this stage.
Don Ray, I see there's brand new knobby tires on your bike. I believe there's an upcoming Champions Slag again.
Yes, so the next event is at Galina. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We are working hard for it. And yeah, just keeping our fitness up and hope we do the best.
Don Ray won the national championship last year for the first time after many years of trying, and he had so many operations. He's been under the knife for numerous occasions, and he decided that this will be his last year. And you had some plates and wires and mechanical stuff removed a while ago.
Yeah, so I broke both collarbones twice, and yeah, your health comes first. At some stage, your health must come first. So a while ago, I removed the plate on my right collarbone, and yeah, hopefully soon we can remove the left one as well, and not put stuff back in, but remove them.
Getting your way down a bit.
Yeah, to start moving forward and not backwards. Yeah.
Don Ray, at what age did you start with motocross?
It started when I was, since I can remember, I would say like 3 years old, 4 years old, I started riding bike, but it was usually just casual riding in the bush, and my parents and my family, we usually just rode on Sundays. We rode in the bush, we had our private MX track and stuff like that. And yeah, in 2014 was my first year where I started to train and had a coach and to start working towards a goal to become a champion. And 2014 I put a lot of stuff together. I gathered my first year of sponsors to buy a new bike. And yeah, the first thing my coach said to me was to get a new bike. At that stage we rode older bikes, and like I said, in the line of sport and to be competitive you need a new bike. Yeah. And yeah, the technology just gets better every year and every year. So yeah, in 2014 I trained and we bought a new bike end of that year. So 2015 was the first year where I actually started to compete for a championship. Yeah.
If I may ask, how old were you then?
I think I was 14, yes, 14 or 15, yeah.
But with my myself covering MX events at Galina and so on, there's very, very young boys and girls, like 4 or 5 years old, doing their thing on the little machines, and it's so cute. I understand. What is your point of view? Is it better to start at that age doing something like this?
Yes, definitely, especially with the technique around it. I mean, a lot of people just tell us what's difficult about motocross, you just climb on a bike and you ride. But the technique around it, I mean, I think it's rated the second most physical demanding sport on earth. So yeah, the technique around it and everything, so from a young age, I can name numerous riders. If you ride from a young age, your technique will always be there. You can stop for several years and you climb on a bike, the technique is always there. Where for me it was difficult because we just usually, like I said, we just did free riding, we had our own track, but it wasn't really competitive or anything. So in 2000 and let's say 14, 15, when I started training hard, it was 3-4 years of catching up to do with the guys I was competing with.
Exactly,
so it's
yeah.
definitely better to do it from a young age, to get the basics right from a young age. Yes.
What I understand is, you help me right, correct me if I'm wrong, with rhythm in motocross, it's a big factor as well with the jumps, getting your rhythm going, catching, but it's about muscle memory and everything as well.
Yes, it's definitely rhythm and memory, muscle memory. You must know exactly what corner is where. You must know what jump is where. You can't approach all the jumps the same speed. So every jump must be approached at a different speed. If you come in fast, you must brake before the jumps face. You must every track differs. I mean, we have 4 different tracks this year, so it's difficult because then you get to a new track and then they make changes to the track, so it's usually difficult to start getting into that rhythm to know what lies where, what speed to take this jump, what speed to take this jump. And yeah, it's definitely a lot of muscle memory and remembering where is what on the track as well.
Explain quickly for us, hard surface, because the tracks differs from each other.
Yes.
There's an MS track in Kubabas, here Windhoek Galena, one at Omaruru,
And
or
Swakop.
In Swakop as well.
Yes.
Now, the track surface wise, what is the difference between the tracks? Is there a huge difference?
There's definitely a huge difference, even if I take it with our tires. As you mentioned before, the new tires, the different tires for different tracks as well. I mean, if we in Omaruru we rode, it was a lot thicker than, let's say, Swakop. Swakop is hard pack, so we drive different tires and the riding style is different, the jumps is different, the corners are different, they break out different. Well, all 4 tracks, just making example of Swakop. And yeah, so at Galena we drive with the MX-32 again, where we don't have the sand tire again because there's a lot more rocks and it's a lot harder. So yeah, it's definitely there's a huge difference between the 4 tracks, and it makes it exciting because it's nice to have different tracks and have something different when they change the tracks and the soil and stuff like that. It's nice to have something different.
It takes heart and all the soul. A head stuck in the game. It takes every bone in your body, all the blood in your veins. And then more blood, and more sweat, more tears, all your hopes and your dreams. It takes conquering fears. It's late nights and weekends. 6 to 6s, 9 to 5s. It takes sacrifice and suffering every moment of our lives. It takes kick after kick, being kicked when you're down. It takes fighting for hours for inches of ground. It takes every last line out, every last second spent. It takes absolute devotion. It takes 100%.
Well, Xbox World Cup winners excited for France 2023. John Smith, who won the World Cup in 2007, and Skalk Brits, who won the Rugby World Cup in 2019, share their thoughts on the Rugby World Cup that's fast and approaching. So let's listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, I can't wait. We've got a real team that can go a double. I can do it back to back, and it's wonderful to be able to. I'll do a bit of commentary, and it's so much easier to commentate on a team that is powerful as the Springboks when they're doing so well. So yeah, I've got a huge amount of excitement about the World Cup.
Okay, 2007, you led the South African team to the World Cup. Tell me, compared to then and now, how has the rugby game evolved or changed?
Look, I think it's certainly gotten faster. I mean, every year the guys get bigger and faster, and the game sort of moves in certain directions, and in terms of the way that the game is played.
Yeah.
I do think that the biggest change is it has gotten safer. We've seen the scrum change dramatically, so it's a safer game to play. We've seen obviously all the law changes around the tackle area and the penalising of dangerous play. So, but it's still at the end of the day a very physical game, and it's wonderful that we look after the guys from a head injury point of view, but fundamentally it's an impossible game to make 100% safe. That's why coaching and teaching kids from a young age is so important, is to keep them safe and help them enjoy the game. That's a physical one.
All in all, how excited are you for this year's World Cup?
Well, who wouldn't be excited? It's probably the most exciting World Cup ever leading into it. You don't, normally it's just Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and then you think, okay, fine, that's maybe England. But now it's sort of totally different. You've got Ireland, France, South Africa, and then we haven't even spoken about New Zealand, but those two northern hemispheres are rated 1 and 2. And the pool games are so interesting. Eventually, England and Australia will, I think, have an easier path through the qualifiers, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be our most difficult challenge, or our South Africans or the Springboks' most difficult challenge. But I'm excited because you don't know who's going to win.
No idea.
And that's the excitement of this World Cup.
Okay, no.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with golf news first. And there's a few tournaments being played at the moment. One on the PGA Tour, that is the Memorial Golf Tournament being played in America, hosted by Jack Nicklaus, and also the European Open on the DP World Tour. Let's start in the USA. It is Davis Riley of the United States. He leads the Memorial Tournament by 5 under par, followed by Matt Wallace at the moment. He's second on a -4 total. Quite a few of the world's top players in action. It is Jordan Spieth. He came in with -3 in his first round. Then John Rahm is 2 under par for his first round. He's the world number 2 at the moment on the golf rankings. And then Rory McIlroy, he triple bogeyed the last hole that he played, the 18th, for an even score. And it is South African Garrick Hugo also in action in the tournament. He came in with a 1 under par score on his first round. On the European Tour, the European Open, and there it is the German Max Kiefer that leads, 6 under par. Few South Africans also playing there for Southern African interest. It is Wilco Nienaber and Dion Germeshuis. Both of them struggled a little bit to over par on the first round. They're going to need to play a lot better to make the cut for the last 2 rounds. Then also the French Open continues. That is the end of week 1 that's approaching us over the weekend. Still second round games on the men and women's side of the French Open at Roland Garros in France, in Paris. And it is a few of the top seeds that's out in the men's division. It is number 8 seed Yannick Sinner of Italy, one of the early favorites. He lost to Daniel Admire of Germany. That was in 5 sets. Also Taylor Paul of the United States, he's number 16 seed. He lost to Nicolas Jarre of Chile. He's also out. And then better news for the other American, Taylor Fritz. He's number 7 seed, and he's through. He beat Arthur Rinderknecht in 4 sets. Also through quickly is Francis Tafo. He's the number 12 seed. Also it is Casper Ruud, number 4. He is one of the favorites, and Alexander Zverev seeded number 22, all through to the 3rd round. In the women's side of the draw, it is for Southern or for African interest. It is Ons Shabir of Tunisia. She won against Ocean Dodden, and 6-2, 6-3 that score. She's through to the 3rd round. Also, the Wimbledon champion of 2022, that is Elena Rybakina. She's the 4th seed. She won against Linda Noskova by 6-3 and 6-3. Then Coco Gauff of the USA, she had a good result. She beat Julia Grabner, and the score was 6-2 and 6-3. But not good news for a country woman, that is Madeline Keys. She's a 20th seed. She lost to another American, Kayla Day. Kayla Day is unseeded. The tournament continues and will finish only next week on Saturday and Sunday with the finals in Paris. Continuing international sports news with cricket news, there's a test match that started at Lords. It's going to be lots of cricket coming up with the Ashes coming up. That is England playing against Australia. That is 5 tests, but it is England that first to play against Ireland. It's a once-off test at Lords. Ireland batted first and they only scored 172 all out. And Stuart Broad, the best bowler there, he took 5 wickets for 51 runs. England replied with a good solid start, 152 for the loss of 1 at close of play, with a Ben Duckett on 60 not out. Then to close off, it's soccer time. Everything is set for the FA Cup final. That's going to be on Saturday at 4 p.m. kickoff time. It's going to be a Manchester title this year. Manchester City playing against Manchester United. The kickoff at Wembley is 4 p.m. on Saturday. Manchester City have won 6 FA Cups in their history, and Manchester United have won 12. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and sport weekend, and we talk again on Monday. Goodbye.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. I'm sure we are all excited for the weekend, and we have a roster full of amazing sports this weekend. We have Capricorn Group Schools Netball that will be taking place at VIS. That will also be brought to you by NTV Live. And then we have the Windhoek Draft Wilvichas game in the Mzansi Cup Challenge that will be taking place at Tage Gingop Stadium, and NTV will be bringing you that as well. Also, do stay tuned for the Manchester Derby that will be taking place at Wembley. Well, Sports Wrap will be back again on Monday, same time, same place. Goodbye.